Today we're going to be covering an acrylic infill, chrome application, and just a teeny little ombre on the tips. So grab a brew, take a seat, and let's get started. So I'm going to start off by removing the bulk. I'm using a 2x coarse bit from Katie Barnes. As per usual, if you go to the link in my bio, I have the like a load of the products listed, and I've also got like a downloadable guide that you can kind of download to get some of the items that I use. So basically I'm taking off all of this colour, some of the bulk. I'm going to be moving that apex back a little bit, so obviously it needs to be in the back third of the nail, and it's probably around about in the second third of the nail, as it were, over the free edge. So I need to kind of move that back and make sure that's nice and smooth before I go in. Also, if you could like and subscribe, I'd be super grateful. And if you do know anybody else who'd be interested in this kind of content, please share it with them. I am really trying to grow on here, and I appreciate every single follow, every single comment, and I love to hear from you. Also, pop in the comments what you want to see. I'd be more than happy to do particular videos, try and create content that people particularly want to see. So yeah, I'm taking off all of the bulk here. In a moment, I will actually use my e-file bit to reduce the length. So I'll come back and I'll show you when I do that. I like to do this when the nails are debulked. I find it just easier to take the length off, rather than doing it at the beginning when the nail's a bit thicker and there's a bit more resistance. I mean, it's a 2 extra coarse bit, so it's pretty sturdy and it will get through most things. But yeah, I do find that doing it at this stage is much easier. I will run the coarse bit round the tip of the nail when I'm doing an almond, or just straight across if it's a square or a coffin or anything like that. And then I will go in with my e-file. If you're going to go all the way round, you need to make sure that your e-file is in constant contact with the nail, otherwise it's going to skip and frighten the Jesus out of you and your client. Then I go in with my hand file and I give it a quick tidy. I did miss a little bit of the colour there, but I think I catch that in a little bit when I go in with my sanding band. So don't worry too much about that. It's more at that point about getting the bulk off. So we're starting the prep now, and I go in initially with some talc-free baby powder. I need to make sure that's dehydrating the nail. It is slightly scented, but I don't think that makes any difference. The talc-free powder just removes any oil, and the reason I'm saying talc-free is that talc previously had asbestos in. Now in the UK I don't believe it does anymore, but I think in perhaps in America it may still have the dangerous active ingredients. So what I would recommend is check your packaging. But just to be on the safe on the side of caution, I went for talc-free talc. So I'm lifting the cuticle here. It's hard to see because of the angle, but I'm trying to get underneath that and just gently coax that up. So rather than kind of pushing it back, I'm lifting it up so I can get my flame bit underneath it in a moment. I am learning at the minute the Russian manicure procedure. Now, let me know in the comments what your thoughts on Russian manicures are. I've done research on both sides, so I can see the pros and the cons, but I'm really interested to know what other people think of it. There's been studies by Doug Schoon that say that actually it's not terribly safe, and yet actually when I see a proper Russian manicure, the way people are doing them now, it's very similar to the prep I was doing. In fact, if anything, it's probably a bit safer. So far, the one that I'm doing, I'm really enjoying, and I'm not removing tons of skin. I'm literally just removing non-living tissue, but it's helping me understand the skin a little bit more. It's helping me work with the skin a little bit better. You'll see here, I'm going in with the flame bit now. I'm going on a forward motion down the left-hand side of the nail and then reverse down the right-hand side of the nail in a moment. And you'll see I'm not kind of doing hundreds of passes. I'm doing a few passes, but I'm literally just going over that cuticle, removing any non-living tissue, lifting the cuticle a little bit more, and also creating a pocket. I'm also trying to be really careful about the angle of my file, and although the e-file is on quite a high speed of around about 16, it's literally just gliding over the surface, especially with that talc on. It makes it so much easier. The speed sounds high, but actually the higher the better, in all honesty. The higher you're going, the much less likely you are to cause any damage to the natural nail, whereas when you go lower, it's more likely to skip, potentially dig in, because you don't need to apply any pressure at all. You'll see here when I'm in reverse, I'm trying to lift that cuticle just a little bit more, just because, I mean, I'm not going far back. We're not going anywhere past kind of the proximal fold. The nail is still attached. If you look underneath that pocket, it's all attached. You haven't got like a great big hole into the nail. It's just removing non-living tissue. So we're trying to lift as much of that as possible to prevent any lifting, and also make sure that we've got a lovely fresh manicure that looks fresh for at least the first few weeks. Now, mind you, my technique is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination yet. And again, like I said, it's very similar to what I was doing. But if you see what I'm trimming there, it's like literally about a mil of non-living tissue. So we're not taking off a great deal of tissue. All I'm doing is taking off non-living tissue. I can't emphasize that enough. Again, I am still really interested to hear your thoughts, because I think it's really important to have like an open conversation about this particular process. But I'm loving it so far. I love the results. I like the way it looks. I am finding it so much easier to trim the cuticle. Because it's not kind of still attached in certain places. It's not a nice smooth cut. I would say almost every time I'll get it off in one pass, if that makes sense. So yeah, huge fan so far. Now I'm going in with a diamond, I think it's a diamond, yeah, buffing bit, just to literally buff that skin and make it really smooth. People do use the silicone ones. I prefer not to. I would much rather use this just because it's much easier to sanitize. So that's, and yeah, I'm just not keen on putting the silicone ones in a sanitizer, like soaking it, because I think they're too porous for my mind anyway. Again, if you know any different, please let me know in the comments. I'd be really interested to hear what you say. But for me, it more often than not, I either want disposable files, because I only use a file once per client, and also I will use all metal bits. I don't like ceramic bits or anything like that. I like metal because I can soak them in my Mondo, which is a really strong disinfectant. I can sterilise them, everything I need to do. So yes, I do love myself a metal bit. But I'm not touching the nail plate really here. I'm literally just going over the skin because it's very gentle. I can have a few passes over that skin just to make sure it's nice and smooth and get any little nicks or anything like that off. But yeah, it creates a really nice finish at the end. Next, we have something really satisfying. So I get my clients to flip their hands over because almost 9 times out of 10, I'll try and spin them the wrong way and nearly flip them off the chair. So I always tell them to turn their hands upside down for me, especially with the thumb. I can never work out which way I need to turn the hand to get the thumb to an angle that I need it at. So I'll say, do that, make your thumb go like that for me, and I'll show them how I want them to put their thumb. But basically I'm going in with it's an undernail cleaning bit. It's like a cone bit that's it's more serrated. So basically that's just lifting out any it's not really taking off a lot of natural nail, but it's taking off any staining and it's smoothing it out. So it means that you don't get the lifting from the free edge that you are more likely to get if you don't do this. Now we're all prepped and cleansed, we need to go in with our dehydrator. I'm using the Bexy Glow one because dehydrators are all pretty similar, to be honest. And I just like the applicator. It's just, if you'll see that, it's so precise and so easy to use. And it means that I can get right into the corners and everything like that and make sure it's really well dehydrated. Then I go in with 2 layers, not one, but 2 layers of Young Nails Protein Bond because it's the best thing that was ever created and I love it. And also the Young Nails Protein Bond, Young Nails in the UK are stocking the larger bottle. So rather than having all the teeny tiddly little bottles that I did have, I have one large bottle of it, which is fantastic. It's perfect for me because I'm a mobile tech, so I need everything in my kit, and running out of it was an absolute pain. So yeah, I absolutely adore this. This particular way of doing it, this double, this size of the bottle. Sorry, brain fart. this double size of the bottle. You don't really need to go over the acrylic either. I tend to just do it over the bottom, and then sometimes I get a bit carried away. But ideally, you only need it over the new growth and not over the acrylic, because acrylic likes to stick to itself. When we're applying the acrylic, you need to make sure that your client's nails are pointing down, because gravity will really help you. I took it into the cuticle first, and then I'll blend it down. You'll notice I'm not touching the where the apex is until around about now, really, because that polymerization process will really help it stay in place. I also built up a little bit at the tip because I think I got a bit too excited when I was debulking, and I added in a little bit more. I'm going to start using my big boy brush just because I find it much easier to pick up slightly larger beads with the big boy brush. So I think I'm going to start using that one. This Liz Guild brush is absolutely, it's a perfect brush for doing acrylics on people, you know, like kind of the normal salon length nails. But if you're wanting to do things more in a one bead method, which I'm preferring now and I think will be quicker, I am going to start using my big boy brush. So that's CJP big boy, and this one is the Liz Guild. The Liz Guild, though, is absolutely perfect for working with clients in a salon setting. It's absolutely spot on. So we really don't need any more than that. You'll see there as well, I've got my brush at like a 45-degree angle to the cuticle, because I want it to look like it's growing out of the cuticle. I don't want a ledge, because ledges by cuticles are what causes lifting. So you'll see in a moment when I apply it, I think I'm putting bead on the at the tip here, just to make sure that all my stress points are covered and all that kind of thing. And oh my God, it's so satisfying. I love watching that. Anyway, but yeah, go in with the cuticle bead at the cuticle, tuck it in, and then blend it down. See there, down the side, and I'll do the other side now. I'm trying not to faddle about with the middle until now. So when I blend that down now, because it's polymerized, it's hardened a little bit, it's more secure, it will blend down the nail so much easier, and I won't wipe away my apex. And you'll see there, it's coming out of the cuticle rather than kind of right bumped up to the cuticle, because I find that if that, like I said before, you will get lifting. So next I go in with my hand file. I didn't need to do a great deal of filing on this one. Normally, if I do need a bit more filing, I'll go in with my, like a bit first to refine it. But I'm finding at the minute I just don't need to. And basically I need to go down the right-hand side of the nail, then down the left-hand side of the nail, then bevel over the top. But I always start at the cuticle as well because I find that I get it really helps with my cuticle area. And then I think I go in and I'll buff this in a moment once I've actually done that and I'm happy with the way it looks. And I don't know whether you'll notice as well, but I'm constantly trying to do this and constantly trying to compare to make sure the length's okay, the shapes like each other. It really does help. But yeah, when you're doing an almond as well, make sure that your nail file is at like a 45-degree angle. So I've not left all the filing in this one, I don't think, just because I go off camera a little bit, but this is just to give you an idea. So for an almond, 45-degree angle on the tip, making sure that looks nice and fresh. Then I start at the cuticle and I go all the way, I bevel all the way down the right-hand side of the nail, then all the way down the left-hand side of the nail. There you go, like that, once I've got the cuticle all nice and neat, and then I bevel over the top. If you do the same thing on all nails, they should look pretty uniform and you shouldn't have any issues, or certainly too many issues with shaping. So now we're going into the design. What we decided to do was on the ring and the middle finger, we did an ombre, kind of an ombre French. My client loves a little design, but not too much. She's getting so much more adventurous, which is fab. And we're having a bit of fun with it. But it's really nice because I quite like doing nails like this with just a tiny little bit of design on it. Look at my massive chunky hands getting in the way there. I'm not wearing gloves anymore, by the way, as well, because for numerous reasons I get incredibly hot when I wear them. So I'll always try and wear them for the majority of the service, but sometimes towards the end I just have to take them off for sensory issues and also because I start to lose feeling and stuff in my fingers. But again, I'm trying to minimise my contact, so I will try and make sure I keep them on as long as possible. So I literally painted on it's kind of like a side French. So like a side swoop. You'll see on the other hand slightly clearer. So if you want to skip ahead once I've explained this, please feel free. But basically what I do is I did like kind of half of the French in one colour. Then I finished it off like you'll see there. And I'm just like filling that in. And then I blend the line together just using very light strokes. Because I've got purple on the left-hand side of the nail and the light blue on the right-hand side of the nail. And I'm just blending that together so you can see like just an ombre. It's a really soft ombre look. Now, I do 2 coats of this, obviously curing in between. And I have got a base layer of gel polish underneath because I find it so much easier to paint on gel polish. So here we'll see it a little bit clearer. In fact, I'll zoom in now so you can see it a bit better. So I'm creating that half moon shape there, filling that all in. Then I'll wipe my brush off and I'll go in with the other colour, which is the purple on the left-hand side. You'll see there I'm just trying to make sure it's really, really smooth. It's nice and kind of filled in and everything there. Obviously using my nails to get anything off the skin, and I will cleanse that before she goes into the lamp. Then on the left-hand side of the nail, I do that orangey colour. So it kind of went, in the picture that we had, it went from purple to light blue, then light blue to orange, and we thought it was a really nice blend. So what you'll see is here, I kind of fill that in, and then I start to go over the line. I've not cured it because I want to create that kind of nice soft blend. It was a bit fiddly, but actually doing it this is what I love about these designs that she has when she just has these kind of little swoops of colour. It's really easy, and if it doesn't work, I can just wipe it off really quickly. That's her looking at it and going, yeah. She always goes, oh yeah, I love it. Honestly, such a lovely client and obviously very good friend. So yeah, so we would do that, make sure that's all nice and crispy and blended together, and then we go into the lamp. Next, we decided to go in with some chrome on the middle ring and the little finger. So I just went in with my 20 Pro top coat, which is my favourite top coat. I think I'm about to run out actually, so I need to get some more. But it's a lovely top coat. It's so perfect for acrylic. So basically, I will just go in with that, give that the full cure for 90 seconds. This one is. But it's hemi-free and everything. I love it. And it doesn't add any bulk or anything like that. It's so lovely to work with. So once that's done, I will go in with my chrome. Again, normally I'd recommend wearing gloves, but please be assured that obviously while I did touch this, the gel after it had been cured, I did make sure I cleansed my hands thoroughly as well before I did anything else. I always have lots of cleanser to my side, and I'm constantly cleansing my hands too. I like to buff chrome in like this just because it helps get rid of any impurities. Try and make sure your top coat is as smooth as possible. Really, really buff it in. If I've got, like, ideally I'll do it with my finger with gloves on, but I try and really, really melt that in. And see how I'm pushing that there, and in a minute I go in with a brush as well. I did do it on the pinky finger, but I don't think I've left that in because it was just a normal one. Then I go in with the design, which is like a chrome design. I'm using the chrome liner from Hona. So using the same brush, I use the Sturdy Boy liner for most of my art, and it's fantastic. And I'm basically just drawing some little silvery goldy lines onto the French just to kind of add a little bit more interest. Now, I actually made a bit of a boo-boo here, but I didn't want to take off the chrome. So we had a look at it. We decided to keep it, and actually it looked really cool. You know, like the lines were meant to be a bit wobbly. So once this is all done and I'm happy with it, we go in the lamp. See, I'm looking at it there. It was so shiny I could hardly see it. That's her saying, no, no, it's fine, or I love it, or something like that. She's so great. And then we put it in the lamp, and then for the full 60 seconds, bring it out, and we do the final top coat. And in a minute, you'll see the full reveal. As I say, please do pop any comments in the comments section, any questions, anything you want me to cover. I would absolutely love to do videos for you. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and please do like and follow for more, and make sure to share this video to anyone you think might be interested. Thanks for watching. Final results coming up shortly. Bye now.